Visitors. No picture. So it seems like these two, what are we? It's coffee scientists.
Plebs.
Will not be going through this door with this camera. So I'm gonna have to describe the scene to you. Actually, Boris is checking for us in the other lab with the other scientist to see if these top secret experiments will be captured on film. But just in case, we'll describe it to you afterwards. That was a scene from a few months ago when my buddy Grant and I paid a visit to the Hatch coffee roastery in Markham, Ontario, while I was preparing for my first of 2 trips to China this year. I'm actually supposed to be in China right now, which kind of explains why I'm sitting next to close to 30 kilos, or for our American friends, around 65 pounds of coffee. But I'm not in China, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'm Brody, and this is the Nomad Barista. So, I'm back in China. And in more ways than one. As some of you may know, I used to live in China like 6 years ago in Yunnan. But about a month ago, I went to Hangzhou for a coffee festival and they invited me back. So here I am. But look at this view. Buildings as far as the eye can see. I'm actually right now in Yancheng, which is 4 hours away from Shanghai. We just did a coffee festival over the weekend, Shanghai Coffee Festival. And now I'm at the roastery of a few friends of mine. So I'm gonna give you a bit of a tour. Now, don't ask me why I was on the roof, but it was a pretty cool view. If we go down a few flights of stairs here, we'll be entering the laboratory of Valley Coffee Roasters, right here in Yancheng. They have fun here at the factory. Let's go down this little Oompa Loompa hole. Oh. Now, you might be wondering why I'm here. 大宝，你要告诉他们我为什么在这里呢？
为什么？
你告诉他们吧。
Because Brody joined Chinese Lujia festival, coffee festival.
That's right, and there is more to the story, but we'll have to go back to a roastery in Canada. So join me there. So Grant, I think we should just just go in while
You want to just do it?
Yeah.
Just go.
Because so, whoa, this is pretty crazy. So there's this part of the packing factory roastery. As you can see, there's a roaster back there. I can't really show you what's going on here because is that an Oompa Loompa? It looks like one. But yeah, anyway, so this is like where all the magic happens for Hatch.
Yeah. This is the man.
I don't know if we're supposed to be in here though, so why don't you come in here? Run. This way. Basically, as the story goes, back in September, I got a call from a good friend of mine, Grant Gamble, and he asked me, hey, I have an opportunity for you, but it involves being out of the country for about a week. And I said, okay, cool, like sounds about my style. Where is it? And he says, it's gonna be in China. And long story short, I was supposed to be going to the Hangzhou Coffee Festival with Hatch Coffee out of Toronto for just a few days. So after a bit of goofing around with Grant in the roastery, Boris and I, the head roaster, boarded a plane all the way to Hong Kong, 15 hours on the plane, and And basically we spent half a day there exploring what the coffee scene had to offer. So, while Boris waits for his Chinese visa to get in, we decided to make some airport coffee with Hatch. Coffee from, where is it? Colombia? The espresso?
Colombia, yeah.
Which will do really, really nicely in this AeroPress. Boris used to live in Hong Kong. He's actually from Hong Kong. So he had a lot of connections and he took me to some really cool cafes. The first one we went to was called Barista Jam, where we had some really nice coffees from Geisha Village, some from Colombia, paired really, really nicely. The next one that we went to was the cupping room. And Capo is actually a barista champion from Hong Kong. And so he made us some really nice coffee, showed us around the roastery. Next up, we visited Amber, which is a really inspiring place. John, another barista champion from Hong Kong, made us some spectacular drinks, some with dry ice. That was pretty incredible. And then we concluded our trip at the Knockbox with Laughing, yet another barista champion. And he basically just poured us like at least 3 Yemeni coffees, a few geishas from Guji, 1 natural, 1 washed, and we just had a grand old time trying coffees before heading back to the airport. So from the airport, we made our way to Hangzhou, another few hour flight, and this is the Hangzhou Coffee Festival. I can't believe I'm back in the humid, warm, elegant China. Just doing a bit of vlogging with my homies here as we wait for our espresso machine, hot water, and all the good stuff to arrive. But check out what we got going on. We've got a Geisha Village 2018, an Icamiabas from Brazil. Then we got this one from Colombia. This is the Monte Blanco. And the special gift, straight from God, straight from Nicaragua, un regalo de Dios. So I'm really looking forward to brewing these up, and we'll get everything sorted shortly. Hi, Brody. Would you like to come to Shanghai Coffee Festival on October? In fact, it was at this very coffee festival that I met my now good friend Xue Song, or just Song for short, the owner and operator of Valley Coffee Roasters. And literally right as I arrived in Canada, I got a message from him saying this. Hi, Brody. Would you like to come to Shanghai Coffee Festival on October 11th to 14th? It is at the best location in Shanghai. And that was all I needed. A month later, and I was back on a plane to Shanghai. I actually didn't take any video at the Shanghai Coffee Festival just because I wanted to make coffee and take some pictures too, so I'll throw those up right now. But we are actually going back to Shanghai tomorrow from Yancheng just to check out a little bit of what the coffee scene has to offer there. Visit some cafes, visit some cafe owners, make some connections. So let's go to Shanghai. So this is Shanghai. And yes, I did make coffee and put it into a little teapot. But there's a lot more where this came from. And today we're going to be checking out a few cafes in Shanghai, some very nice ones. There's a lot to offer since the last time I was here. But you have to check out this hotel. It's just incredible. It's like bamboo everything. So after a few nice morning coffees and some tea actually, we are ready to hit the road. Come join me in Shanghai. Our first stop was at Moon Coffee Roasters. I noticed that pretty much all of the cafes that we visited in Shanghai had some sort of theme going on, and this one clearly a lot of outer space vibes. Drank some coffees under the moon and moved on. The Starbucks Reserve, aka Willy Wonka's coffee factory, was sort of a necessary stop, and though even the reserve coffees were still a little bit too dark roast for my taste, it was interesting to see all the single origins that they were working with, including China itself. Oniri, on the theme of themes, enough Japanese vibes to go around. The interior design, cute trinkets, Tokyo bike, was a really cool space. Very minimal. As it got a little bit later in the day, we made a quick stop at OPS, which is all about very unique coffee creations, and So Wei, the owner, made us some amazing cocktails with cold brew, some with espresso, some bitters, some non-alcoholic botanical drinks, and this one particularly with a fruity egg white foam. She makes regular coffee drinks as well, but I took mine with a whiskey. And not to be confused with Black Sheep Coffee in London, Black Sheep Espresso was our last stop of the Shanghai coffee tour. And we got to try a few guest pour-overs from some international roasters. And I downed one last espresso roasted by Black Sheep themselves before calling it a day, and my time in Shanghai finally came to an end. I would love to go back to China and see how their coffee scene is growing, how the people are coming together to make a real community there. But for the time being, I've got a bunch of this coffee here in Canada, and I would love to share it with you. If you're in Southern Ontario, if you own a cafe or you are just like a passionate home brewer, or if you're interested in coming and brewing some of this coffee with me, I basically have to sell out. So let me know, turn that notification bell on. I would love to hear your comments on that, whether it's on this video or on the next video, and I hope to see you all soon. So have a great New Year's, and 再见.